seeing the imagery projections, the false imagery projections of others. It's very important. It's interesting because I woke up at 1:30 and since I'm nocturnal, for me it's easier to be in self and see self and do the work within, because this is all the work we do. This is what we need to do in order to see ourselves, because what's happening out there is just here for us to investigate within and to see it. So what's out there is not really the important thing, but what we see and how we make it conscious, which helps us to grow and helps us to move forward on our path. So basically, it was an interesting dynamics when I met my past lover for many lifetimes. And so since I'm doing the romantic walk and unfolding and opening the gifts of an encounter and make it conscious and getting to know me in that sense more and see and learn and evolve and grow. This is the whole point, nothing else. We did not come here to make it stick. We did not come here to be with each other, or maybe not at this time, or maybe at a later time, or not at all. It doesn't matter. It does not matter because destination is unknown. The whole thing and everything is happening in the now, meaning whatever you need to learn to grow is happening in the now. It's always in the now. And whatever it is, it's in the now. And so I kept coming back to him. He kept coming back to me. I mean, he always was there. I kept running away. And many of you call this the twin flame thing, but I'm not sure, I don't really believe anymore that you need anyone in order to be complete or fulfilled or anything like that, and especially not to unconscious individual. So it is just a theme, a dynamics that grows you more than any other relationship probably. And so since you both have something, a key for the other to open him or herself up to more and more of her own self-understanding and self-knowing, that is why you meet. That's the whole point. It's nothing else. It's not the other thing, This is the main thing of the main theme about this one. And so funnily enough, a lot of us, when we meet our twin flame, we feel that we are crashing. I mean, I was already really, really high up in consciousness, but since I did not do the romantic walk and I did not really release a lot of those obsessive, compulsive, addictive, conditioned behavior patterns in a romantic sense with men. So the divine feminine has to go through this process. And of course we go through the process in our work-related stuff, our family, like mother related stuff, ancestral healing, and a lot of other stuff. Friends, all kinds of different relationships. And we always learn more about ourselves. But when you walk the walk of the romantic walk, the process, because this is our most and biggest and major dynamic where we carry the most hurt, the most pain, the most blind spots. And it's really related to a lot of all kinds of, damage, in that sense, within a lot of distorted beliefs about you being or wanting to be whole with another, when you need to be whole with self. And it's really like slashing the fairy tale beliefs of that you need another half. No, you don't. And when you're whole, and when you're really enjoying yourself as a whole person, you no longer can be manipulated, you no longer can be sexually exploited, you no longer can be corrupted in a way with false beliefs. And so it's so amazing, because what I really want to talk about this, how I have seen that we were magnetically kind of pulled to each other, towards each other, because of those past things. But I was the one who had the information from the Akash of our past relationships. I had my memories, all those memories that were called up and down from, seeing all those from the Akash. All of our lifetimes together, and most of them, I'm not saying that all of them, okay? But the funny thing was, this dynamics kept going on. I kept running away from it, and always I had some kind of insights, and I had to act out all my, in a way, my feelings. I was talking about it. I was open. I was like open, so open. I cannot even tell you. I was like so honest and so open. I did not hide anything. I had no secrets. I was an open book to him. And he was this hiding his feelings and all this, and locked down completely. And of course, a lot of pain, behold, a lot of hurts and disappointments through other relationships. So, and then all of a sudden I've seen it. All of a sudden I've seen so many things before, but this was like, I really had to realize that there was this false imagery projection from him to me which is usually the disconnected man projection of wanting a woman in their life for the purpose of bearing children, or just to have them marry them for the purpose of energetic supply, because this was the old theme. It was like many of us feminine goddesses and women were supporting men with feminine energy. And it was like this, so this has to end, right? This, we are moving beyond. There will be no more anybody supplying anyone with energy, with feminine energy, because the men were disconnected in their heart. And when a man is disconnected in his heart, he's using the woman for energetic supply. So, and this was a past theme of our relationships. And so we are no longer giving our life force and power away to a disconnected man who is disconnected in his heart. And he definitely was and still is. Maybe he's opening, but, we no longer wait for someone to really open their hearts. We go away, we move away, we whatever. Maybe we meet another time, sometimes, maybe we don't, maybe somebody else will do it. And the main thing is his false imagery projection, I felt like it was like weighing on me. It was like a very heavy energy. And I thought, I never wanted a relationship. I don't want a relationship. I was not looking for a relationship. And I definitely don't want a relationship, and especially not with disconnected people, right? So it felt like very toxic and very heavy. It felt dense. And so we, feminine, divine feminine, we have to know what serves us energetically. And since our intuition got really, really heightened in this last year, was like, no, this would be not good for me. This would be something I would end up in something which is a false promise. It's a false image. It's a false energetic vibratory field, which is not beneficial to me. This is all I felt. And although I have, and I think many of you probably can relate, have the unconditional love for him. And this is just so interesting, because the unconditional love that we have is like that what keeps us coming back. But it's like, I love you, but I cannot be with you. And this is what you know, and this is what you feel, that I love you, but I cannot be with you. You are not good for me. Your vibration and your thing, because you're disconnected from yourself, would be like poison to me. It's poisonous. It's venomous. It's terrible. It feels terrible. And maybe, you know, after you connect with them, maybe, but you have this incredible, strong attraction, this sexual attraction, and you want to kind of unite, but it's just, you just feel that your body wants to unite, but your soul knows it's no good for you. At this stage is not beneficial to you. So this kind of, you feel this like one part of you is pulling back to him, or pull you back to him, and the other part just wants to get away from him. And so it's like this is like, it's not good for you. You just have to know it's not good for you, because you would end up in something which is not you anymore. And although there are those underlying conditionings and attractions from past lifetimes, you know, you're not supposed to end up in a relationship like that, which you already know that emotionally, vibrationally is not supporting you, frequency-wise. And this is all you need to know. And whatever you know, and you just move away. You don't have to save them. You don't have to teach them. You don't have to do anything with them. Because maybe right now, all they need is themselves being alone, be by themselves, unless they keep going and looking for women to be supplies to them, which is perfectly fine. Because if they chose this road and this path for themselves, well, this is what they need to do. And you're not here to save them. You're not here to save anyone. So let's, you know, get rid of the idea of you need to save your twin. No, you don't. You don't have to put yourself under tremendous stress. You already need to know that you're not here to save anybody. And that is the false, old, outdated program of all this bullshit. And I would not be surprised if men came up with this story to keep women at bay. Okay? So you don't need to do that. That is false. That is untrue. That is a lie. And what you need to do is you need to move on. You need to go. And you need to keep going on your path. And we are self-sovereign, so everybody is responsible for themselves. And whatever the road that they choose is not, you're not here to support that road, because that is his choice. And you cannot be an energetic supply to any man anymore. And you know, that's the old familiar. But what you need to know is you have to go through the eye of the needle for the sake of your own self. And the eye of the needle is a one person path. You have to cross that by yourself. And it's not two persons path, you know, it's not. Because the self-sovereign is sovereign by itself. fulfilled by itself and moves on. Do not wait for anyone, And this is why, when people ask, do you want to renew your bodhisattva vow? And a lot of things with the bodhisattva vow also included you wait for other souls to catch up, to the evolutionary level that you are on, or conscious level and the level of consciousness. This is not your job. You are sovereign and free, and you are whole. So the funny thing was that I had also, during this time, while I was still in the blind spots, he had this thing with me being a wife and a mother of his child. And I'm telling you, I'm 56 years old. I'll be in February. It's like, what are you talking about? Well, the guy is 33 years old, right? And amazing, but it's like, please, I never even wanted a child in this lifetime, much less at 56. And all this, this relationship dynamics and all that stuff that we feel and whatever towards people, and maybe they feel towards us. But that was his false imagery for me, projection. It's a false imagery projection. And the funny thing is, a lot of times you get sucked into this such dynamics because you start to, it seems like, what the fuck are you talking about? When I met you, I did not want anything with this thing. It's like, where is this coming from? I never had this thing, in me to be this, and especially not a mother and not a whatever. And what the fuck is this doing in my thought patterns, all this stuff. So you are kind of influenced with this projection of other people. It's an energy, it's nothing else. It's their thing that they keep thinking, and they project it onto you. It's like, say, oh, she would be good for me. She would be like, yeah, mother of my child, or just have her as a whatever. And they just want this warm feminine energy, which they cannot provide themselves because they are disconnected from their own source, right? From their own life source. So they need people to be connected to, but not because their heart is open, or not because they have love for you. No, it's just their interest is that. It's like it's a survival thing for them. So basically, this is an old pattern that you kept playing probably thousands of lifetimes with him, or hundreds, who knows. But anyway, my projection was, because I had one too, you have to see your own bullshit too. So my projection was onto him, the false imagery projection of him, to be that lover who is open, who is attentive, who is really loving, who is really accepting you, mind, body, and soul, emotionally available, because my heart is open. And I just kept feeling I'm trying to stuff him into this dream box of mine, this dream lover box of mine, right? And he does not fit. He does not fit the dream box of mine. And it's like you say, holy shit. So basically, all of a sudden you say, like, how did that image shit and all that crap came? But you see, we have this key swapping. We have this, I'm here to understand. I'm here to stay conscious. And even in the midst of all craziness, and whenever those false projections are really getting into your energy field, and then you feel like your thoughts are really muddy and foggy and all that. And that's what I felt, when we met, that after a while, all this shit that was projected onto my field, it felt like it's so muddy. I was like swimming in sewage, man. It was a cesspool of toxic craziness. And I had, I needed a day or two to get back to normal after me being with him for a few hours. Or let's say we were together, we watched movie together, and then I slept there, slept with him. But being in his aura, and we did not have any other, physical stuff with each other. But it was just, we just wanted to be so much with each other, or whatever, everybody had their own reasons, right? But I just knew I cannot be with him physically. And it was good because probably would have killed me, in that sense. And then you have to know that when you are sleeping in somebody's energy field for 8 hours or 9 or 10 or whatever the time that you spend, I also had a dream in the beginning that we were in Tibet. And we had a lifetime when he was also in Tibet and I was in Tibet. And I was a man. I was a male, not a female, right? Of course, because I was a monk there. And we were up on the hill, and then all of a sudden I felt this activation in one morning after, having this movie night. And that my whole arms, 2 of my arms from elbow down, was completely numbed and vibrating with the speed of light. All my cells were going all cuckoo, and my hand became this like grabbing onto something, and my fingers were like all crammed. And I thought, what am I trying to hold on to? What is this? I felt like in the movies, those sick people with the arms, weird looking thing. And I thought, what the heck is that? What is happening with me? What is this? What am I trying to hold on to? And then I had those dreams where the hair dryer and the blow dryer was blowing something out of my mind. And it was like really, really weird stuff. But at the same time, we had this incredible feeling of being at home when we hugged each other and just being near to each other. And it felt like very addictive though. And I did not want to be in that theme. And I told him, I knew it from the start. But when I met him, my heart chakra was got wide open. And I had all kinds of stuff, weird feelings at night, in the first night. And I just talked to him like for 5 hours or something. We met for a tea. But I felt this incredible energetic something. And he said to me, don't let me pull you down. And before I got out of his car. And I thought, what? And I said, maybe you're just the last temptation on my path. And that night I dreamt that I was crashing with my plane, and I almost did crash right into the ground. It was like really almost. I hardly could hold it before I was smashing into the ground in the dream with this airplane. And I was like so high up, my vibration was so high up, and then all of a sudden I found myself near to ground, crashing, dead. And it was amazing. And I knew that somehow, and I had those weird things that came, and it's like we knew that I'm gonna be falling back into a certain level of consciousness, and then from that I was held back. It felt like I had a lid on me, and I could not come back. I could not come back until I was doing the work that I had to do. So you might have a soul contract with someone in that sense, but it does not mean that you have to stay in that thing, in that theme. It's just until you, for some reason, you guys maybe had a soul contract before you came down and said, okay, I will actually try to kick you awake, because you are so much in the sleeper to little hamster wheel consciousness, And you might have to, do this. And it's not that you're gonna be ending up together at all. It's not about that. But it's really just recognizing your own part in this one as the romantic walk, as I call it. And this is what needed to be done. And then, I find myself to recognize, because, a lot of times you want to run away. You do, and you actually run away, but something, you keep coming back because there's still something more to find out for self. And you only come back until you have something to find out for self to finish up the job. Because no matter how many times I ran away, in the dream state, we still work together, and whatever I did not do in the physical, I had to do in the dream state. It did not finish, and it was not finished yet. And so for some reason, there's still something to find out. And as this proved it, that whatever came, how we kept really putting on false imagery projections onto each other. And so I had to become aware of my own bullshit, just as much as he has to become aware of his own bullshit. I don't know if he knows it or not. We talk about these things a lot, but I don't know if he's willing to grow, or he's just fakes and pretends to listen to what I say and how much it stays with him, and he still has this false imagery projection onto me. But that is not my problem. It is not my job to figure out his stuff, although I see it pretty much. But we are not here for that. We are here for self. We are here for self. And you only do what you want to do, what feels right in the moment, whatever it is, and do not do more, and do not allow anyone's expectations to imprison you in this false imagery projection, which they are doing onto you. But you also have to see your own part, how you are projecting something onto them, and then free yourself from your own delusions and illusions in that area, or in that sense. See your own obsessive, compulsive, addictive, conditioned behavior patterns, which you are here to free yourself from through him or through her, because there are just all kinds of different dynamics here. And this is the job. This is the inner work that you do. It's not that you have to work out anything with each other. You already worked out, because you have this unconditional love for another in that sense. Because otherwise you would be like not even talking to each other anymore. But it's really like, and it's like, a lot of stuff, like a lot of, lower level of consciousness suggests that you have to run away. You can run away, and you can never come back, but you're going to find yourself another one who you really have to play this theme and dynamics out until you recognize your own bullshit projections, your own bullshit in the romantic arena. So you might get rid of him, but you're certainly going to find somebody else until you really, really, really see your own blind spots in that area. And until you can really completely free yourself from these dynamics to be completely free and really uninstalling all the triggers, all the buttons that were installed by that person in a past lifetime. So it's like uninstalling all the stuff. It's like being on a minefield. And so you have to take up all that one and clear the field of those triggers. And you can only clear yourself from the triggers by consciously seeing them, understanding them, and releasing them, recognizing them, have the insights and bring it into consciousness, higher consciousness, to resolve and dissolve all those feelings of fear, fearing anything, to be not loved, to be not accepted for who you are, seeing your own thing, how you are seeking validation or appreciation from another person, and also seeing your own fear of not getting it from him or from her, and really becoming even more self-sovereign and say, I no longer seek anything from him or from her. I no longer seek to be accepted, or I no longer seek to be seen for who I am right now. And if they want to see me as their false imagery thing, let them see it. But I am not becoming that just because they want me to become that false imagery of, because that would be a false imagery for self, who I am right now. And right now, I am not that. I'm not here to serve their expectations of me in any way, shape, or form. Because I only need to be me, because through me, they will get actually the proper treatment for exactly what they need to learn about themselves. So it's a platform of becoming, each and every one of us, a transformational pit for the other. I mean, we are portal of transformations for each other. And through that, we also understand ourselves. So it's a dynamics which is, it has its mutual effect on both. Because there's no such a thing that you are the only one that needs to learn out of this. Yeah, you need to know what you need to learn. You don't need to know his or whatever, but he is also learning while you are really being yourself. But for that, you cannot have sympathy, and you also have to be the self in every moment, because when you are the self without fear of what he thinks of you, or what, he being afraid of what you could think, none of you has to worry about that at all. So you have to be able to be thyself completely and fully in any given moment. Communicate only when you want to communicate. Be there when you want to be there, when you want to be there, but not when the other wants to manipulate you into being there. You need to only do what feels right for you in any given moment. And if any given moment means that you only talk every half a year, well, then that's what it is. Or let's say you don't talk for weeks, because this kept coming back in our dynamics too. Like I did not feel like talking to him because I needed me. I felt I'm hungry for me in the beginning of October, so I stopped communicating. And then, all of a sudden I felt this deep sense of love again. And at the end of November, I contacted him. And so, like, sometimes you don't even talk for 2 months and you're fine. And it's like, whatever. But if that is what you feel that you need yourself, this is what you need to do. And not worry about what they might think or what they might do. They might be going on with some other women, who knows? Or maybe the girl will go out with some other guy. But it does not matter, because, whatever you need to work out with each other, you will need to work it out. in that sense, meaning regarding yourself, of course. And it's not really the two of you at that point at all. It's like each one of you will see more of him or herself and learns and grows and evolves. And all is beautiful. All is beautiful. And you don't have to make it hard or break it hard or break it off hard. Sometimes we do, and that's okay too. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just say, listen, I just have to go. And that's all I know. I have to go. And I need space for self. That's all. Well, this is what I wanted to say. So be mindful of your own bullshit, okay? Your own projections, your own illusions when you are delusional. And take care of yourself. Love you guys. Bye.